Welcome, Rush fans, and welcome to our top 25 Rush songs as we go over and count them down from number 25 all the way to what we feel is the best Rush song. Sit back, relax, and definitely make sure you let us know in the comments on your take on our picks here, and we will get going right now. All right, and let's begin with our top 25 Rush songs here. I'm going to go with the number 25, which is going to be After Image, of course, from Grace Under Pressure. After Image was one of those songs that just definitely one of the standout tracks from Grace Under Pressure. It was actually written and dedicated to Robbie Whalen, who was worked with the band at one point, was killed in an auto accident. Performed only on the Grace Under Pressure tour, oddly enough. It was mentioned inside the Different Stages live CD as a dedication to Neil's wife and daughter who passed away. Great song, definitely one that, in my opinion, stands out in the catalog. And number 24, moving on, we're going to go all the way back to Permanent Waves with 1980 with Free Will. Song has been played many times on tour. Definitely one of the more popular Rush songs. Pretty much appears on every Rush compilation album. Behind Spirited Radio, it was the second most played song off Permanent Waves, and definitely deserves to be in the top 25. Number 23, we're going to go back to Hold Your Fire, which, that album, for whatever reason, doesn't really get the love it deserves, but we got it, Force 10, which has opened many shows and many tours. Presto, Roll the Bones. It's the opening track from Hold Your Fire, so it was only fitting that they opened up with it and used it many times. Played numerous tours. Number 22, Lakeside Park. One of those songs that Geddy's not too fond of listening back on. He says he cringes when he hears it on the radio. It did make a surprise appearance on the R40 tour after not being used in any set since 1978. And obviously Neil wrote about this park, which was part of his youth that he lived nearby and worked at back in the day. So Lakeside Park, number 22. And the next song we got in this list, 21, we're going to go to Dreamline, which is the opening track from Roll the Bones. They opened up with this song on the Counterparts tour and Test for Echo tours. Most recent song in the catalog in the top 25. So that just goes to show you that it's going to be a lot of the old stuff in this portion of the listings here. So Dreamline, one of those songs that, definitely the lyrics stand out, and a song that definitely is one of those ones that definitely hits home here. All right, so moving on to number 20, Manhattan Project from Power Windows. As Neil has mentioned, hardest song they had to complete for Power Windows. It was played on Power Windows, Hold Your Fire, Presto tours, and it was revived for the Clockwork Angels tour. And, definitely one of the standout tracks from Power Windows. Perhaps it's definitely, I would say it's my favorite from that album. Great song, and definitely deserves to be right here on the cusp of the top 20. And at number 19, we have none other than from the debut album, In the Mood. Great song, one of the standout tracks from that album, and probably the most played song from the first album in concert, because they played it throughout their career. here and there. Mostly the early parts of the pretty much the 70s, all the tours in the 80s. Got to see it from time to time. But oddly enough, it was last played live during the Presto tour, which, was a long time ago. And it was often played as part of a medley. And this was one of those songs that was written entirely by Geddy. So, number 19, In the Mood. And we're going to go on down to number 18, which is a song, the title track from Fly By Night, 1975, written by Neil about his visit to London back when he was just a teen there. For as much airplay this song has received over the years, it was never played live after 1978, oddly enough. For whatever reason, they chose not to play this one, but definitely a standout highlight earlier on, and definitely a radio favorite, as you can still hear this song played many times to this day, still on the classic rock stations. Going to go down to number 17 now and dig into the Presto album, which, for the Pass, this is one of the band's favorite tracks to play live. Neil always gets emotional when playing it, he mentioned at one point, due to it being one of the better crafted songs as well as the lyrics. So they really hit home for him. Definitely I would say it's the highlight off the Presto album. Just a great song. Never really got the love it deserved, but I'm giving it love here. It was the second single, and it did peak on the U.S. mainstream chart, reaching number 15. But overall, it's definitely one of those underrated gems of the Rush catalog. Moving on to Hemispheres, 1978. We're going to dig out Circumstances. Not sure why this song was not played much. Nice short song. Great fast paced. One of those songs that you definitely is very catchy. It was only really played live on the Hemispheres tour until it was revived for the Snakes and Arrows tour. So, definitely one of those rare songs in concert. But definitely one of my favorites for sure. And then we're going to dig into Grace Under Pressure. The Body Electric. One of those songs that, was played on the Grace Under Pressure tour. And they didn't really bring it back again live until the Clockwork Angels tour. It was one of those tracks that they would alternate out every other night. And when I got to see them in Buffalo, oddly enough, they were supposed to play that because that was the night it would have been in a Buffalo set for set A, and we got kind of sidetracked there, and they ended up not playing it. They gave us a little treat in another manner by playing Limelight, which at that point during the Clockwork Angels tour had not been played anywhere at all. So Buffalo got the first shot at hearing Limelight live there during that tour. So, can't argue with that. A great song. But this song, Body Electric, definitely remains a cult favorite. And moving on to number 14. A lot of people, this song, they're not a fan of this song for whatever reason, but I just love the lyrics. I just love Amy Mann guesting on vocals. It was the first track that was written for Hold Your Fire. And it stayed in the set regularly up to Counterparts, and then it was added in for Time Machine. So near the end of their career, they decided not to play it as well. But definitely, for me, it's one of those songs that I've always appreciated and admired. And we're going to go down to number 13. Going back to Grace Under Pressure once again for Red Sector A. Which is just one of those great songs that no matter how many times you hear it, it just great to hear it. Obviously, it has been played on multiple tours over the years, and it oddly enough is the only Rush song to have no bass. Geddy played keyboards for the whole song. If you ever watch any of the live videos, you can attest to that. But definitely, Red Sector A, definitely one of my favorites from the catalog, clocking in at number 13. And then we're going to go to Red Barchetta. Yes, one of those, what a great song from Moving Pictures, 1981. Constantly in most of the top Rush songs lists. If anybody makes a list, it usually pops up in there. It was inspired by a short story in a Road and Track magazine article, oddly enough. And obviously, it's appeared in set lists for many tours over the years, too many to name. So, number 12, Red Barchetta. We're getting down to the wire here. We're going to clock in now with Moving Pictures once more. We're going to stay with Moving Pictures here and go back to Vital Signs, the song that closes out the album. It's kind of got a reggae influence, very unique, stands out. Definitely been played on many tours, which unfortunately Time Machine was the last one they played it on. But definitely this is one of those songs that definitely is a highlight for the band. And then we're going to go back to Grace Under Pressure once again. Obviously, you could see there's the theme building here. Grace Under Pressure definitely is one of my favorite albums of all time. And this song here is the song that kicked it all off. And just an early warning, the opening track from Grace Under Pressure. It was played numerous times on tour over the years. And released as the first single, but only made the mainstream chart. One of those situations, obviously Rush never really hit big. Their highest charting song was New World Man, which barely cracked the top 40. But other than that, Grace, just an early warning is definitely the song that helped push Grace Under Pressure into that platinum status where it remains, and it's definitely the main highlight on the album, but it does have a good supporting cast behind it as well. Number 9, we're going to go with none other than Subdivisions. This song is definitely probably one of their most live played songs from 1982 on. Numerous tours it's been played live on. And it was actually a very important song, as it was the first song the band wrote that was kind of keyboard based. Definitely, this song helped push Signals to platinum along with New World Man. It's one of the five Rush songs that were inducted into the Canadian Songwriters Hall of Fame. So it's definitely a main one of the best songs the band has ever written, performed, and deservedly makes our top 10 here. And now we're going to get down to the wire here. We're going to go all the way back to A Farewell to Kings, 1977, for Closer to the Heart. One of the band's most known and loved songs. As close as the band has come to recording a pop song, Geddy Lee once stated. It's been played live many times over the years. If you ever watched the Rio, the DVD Blu-ray there, man, that crowd, they added that song special for that crowd that night, man. What a unbelievable scene if you ever watched that show there. Great song, and definitely deserving to be where it is at. Number 7. So we're put down as 2112 from 1976. Takes up the whole side of the album. But usually they just played the overture and the Temples of Syrinx a lot of the times in concert, to keep it shorter so they could play other stuff. And that's the part of the version that I'm keeping is listed here. And it has the distinction of being the most played Rush song live, oddly enough. Like I said, they wouldn't always play the whole thing live because it was such a long song, but they definitely usually did the overture and the Temples of Syrinx. Marked the first time the band dedicated a whole side for a track. So pretty much been played on many tours. Obviously, since it's the most Rush song that was ever played live. But they didn't play it on a few of the tours from Presto, Roll the Bones, and Counterparts. But pretty much after that, it's always been there. That's for sure. That was a very important album for the band, obviously, and the song definitely helped catapult that album and the band. And So we're going now back to Farewell to Kings. Gonna go with the 11-minute epic. Begins with a 5-minute instrumental with Xanadu. Uh, Great song, inspired by the poem Kubla Khan by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. Song was actually recorded in one take, oddly enough. Great song. This is one that they played it on numerous tours over the years, but not as many as I would have liked. Definitely one of those standout tracks live. If you really love it on the record, it's just as great live. One of those great songs that it seems like this one the radio doesn't touch too much because it is a little bit long, but you'll every now and then you'll hear it on those classic rock stations. Definitely a great song, one of the best from the band. And that's going to take us down now to the top five, which, is definitely the nitty gritty here. We're going to go down to Tom Sawyer, number five. This one pretty much probably makes everybody's top 10 list. Sometimes it even makes the top two. But for our case, we got number five just because we got four other songs that we feel are just a little bit better. Defining piece of the 80s for the band. No doubt about that. Everybody pretty much knows this song. It's considered the band's signature song. They actually used it as the opener on the Vapor Trails tour, which was kind of odd because they used to always play it, as like the last song before they left for the encore or during the encore. But, definitely probably the most played Rush song ever on the radio. Tom Sawyer, definitely the song that help make Moving Pictures the album that it is, for sure. And now we're going to Live in the Limelight. Same album, Moving Pictures. A rarity that it was only absent from Grace Under Pressure, Presto, and the R40 tours. I'm really shocked that they didn't play it on the R40, considering how important and how great this song is. And, Alex also notes it as his favorite solo to play live, so really surprised that they didn't play it live, but during the last tour. Oddly enough, it was only played on occasion, like I had mentioned during the Clockwork Angels tour. They played it about 5 times during that first leg of the tour, and then they decided, okay, we're going to bring it back. And, on the second leg of the tour, it stayed in the set list. It deals with Neil's difficulty in coming to terms with fame. Definitely one of the best songs he's ever written by far. Living in the Limelight. Number 3, we're going down to Signals. Yes. We're going to go back to the Analog Kid, the up-tempo rocker, which is one of the fastest Rush songs ever recorded. This is definitely one of those moving songs. They played it live, occasionally. It's featured obviously on Signals, Roll the Bones, the Counterparts tour, and it made a last appearance on the Clockwork Angels tour. So, yeah, there was a period of time that they didn't touch it, but definitely a high point for the band, and it fit in perfectly. It was a perfect song to follow Subdivisions on the album itself. All right, so now we're going down here. We got number 2, Spirit of Radio. Permanent Waves, the song that kicks off the 1980s for the band. Played on every tour since its release. Best concert opener that I feel the band has ever used. There's no other better opening song in my estimation, but it works great as a closer as well. It's just one of those greatest songs of all time, and it just doesn't matter where you play it live, as long as it's played. It's definitely usually the highlight of the night. I still remember on the Clockwork Angels tour, I guess they placed it pretty good. They played it right after all the Clockwork Angels songs, and man, when they first opening notes started playing, man, that's probably the biggest ovation I've ever seen during a Rush show in my time. I've seen 8 shows, and that was definitely the biggest. The crowd just erupted when they played this song, and that was definitely the high point of that concert, for sure. And now you ask, what is number one? Well, we got to go back to Hemispheres to dig it out for you. All right. First Rush song I ever heard and liked. And obviously, this is one of those songs that was played on many, many tours. And man, there was nothing like hearing this one live. The Trees, just a, the song itself is, kind of odd with the lyrics and everything. How the trees are kind of at war with each other, but it's one of those songs that the music itself is just so much going on in this song, and it's just a phenomenal song. The top Rush song in my book. It was tough. This and Spirit of Radio, but this one just edged it out just by a smidge, just by a smidge. And there you have it, our top 25 Rush songs. And there you have it. There's our top 25 Rush songs. And if you go to our website, rockshowcritique.com, you will see we actually did our top 6 dozen Rush songs. We just did the video only for the top 25 here. But if you're curious to see, where some of the songs that maybe didn't make it landed here, we did do our top 72, and they'll be listed on our website at www.rockshowcritique.com.